Hi everyone, my name is Emmanuel Morris and welcome to my presentation of my practicum experience from the fall 2018 semester. For my practicum, I chose to partner with Alonzo Jones, who is the Associate Athletic Director for Championship Life, Diversity, and Inclusion for ASU Athletics. My main goal of this experience was to create a blueprint for a financial literacy program for student athletes to help them gain knowledge and experience with managing their money responsibly, which is a vital skill to living a sustainable and successful life. Throughout this presentation, I will cover what my responsibilities and goals were when it came to developing and implementing educational programming for our student athletes. From there, I will take a look at how some of the theories from my previous coursework was reflected in my overall practicum experience. I will follow this portion up with a self-reflection of how far I have come in some core competencies that are critical when it comes to becoming a successful practitioner within the field of higher education. And as a conclusion, I will explore potential research questions for my applied project next semester. Before getting into all the details about my practicum, I want to take the time to explain what a LU check is for student athletes here at ASU, since it is a central focus to my financial literacy program. A LU check is essentially a cost of attendance stipend that student athletes receive as part of their athletic scholarship. It is intended to be used to cover their incidental expenses that come with being a student at ASU. So things such as travel costs, off-campus housing, food, optional fees, and school supplies. Here at ASU, student athletes on a full scholarship get a LU check every month for about $1,300. For those who stay and take classes over the summer, they get a check at the start of both A and B session for about $2,300. So as you can see, there is a lot of money for a young person to manage, especially if they have never had this type of money come their way as often as it does. Cost of attendance stipends are a relatively new concept as of 2015, following the Alston v. NCAA court case, which changed the definition of what a full grant and aid scholarship can cover. Before the ruling, a full scholarship could only cover tuition, room and board, books, and mandatory fees. This still left some families from low-income backgrounds having to take out loans to cover their incidental costs that came with attending the university they chose. In an effort to address this issue, the NCAA member schools adopted new legislation that allowed a full scholarship to cover up to the cost of attendance, which is a huge game changer for college athletics and its student athletes. Since beginning my grad assistantship, I have witnessed a lot of student athletes mishandle their LU checks. Most of them live a check-to-check lifestyle, which causes them to run through all of their money quickly. Having witnessed these issues, I felt inspired to come up with a solution. As an adult, money management skills are crucial, so it's important that we as a department pass on this knowledge to our student athletes so they can be better prepared when they leave us and begin the next chapter in their lives. With all that being said, some of my responsibilities that came with creating a financial literacy program included launching a campaign to create awareness about the importance and power of setting money aside in savings. It also came with planning and teaching a financial literacy lesson for Uni 394, which is a student athlete success course for juniors that provides them with the essentials of how to be successful in life after sport. I was also in charge of meeting 101 with student athletes to discuss their individual financial situation and help them prepare a realistic monthly budget that allows them to put some of their blue check money in savings. For those that didn't already have a checking or savings account, I also provided them with the necessary information so they could be able to open those accounts and have a place to safely put their money. Finally, I took the time to create a sustainable curriculum and programming that could become a part of Sun Devil athletics culture moving forward. Here's an illustration of what the educational programming will look like moving forward for our student athletes who come through our Championship Life program. Year one focuses on educating them about the power of savings and preparing them for their sophomore year, where most of them choose to live off campus and as a result get a larger LU check every month. Year two serves as a reminder of the principles of putting money away in savings for a rainy day and why they need to be diligent about sticking to their monthly budget. Year three is when all of them will be enrolled in the Uni 394 course. In this course, they will have the opportunity to apply savings principles to their future careers to get a feel for what the next chapter looks like for them. While this program is still in the beginning stages of implementation, some goals I have set forth include educating Sun Devil student athletes on money management skills, in particular the principle of paying yourself first by putting 10% of your income away in savings. Moreover, we want them to change their thought process so that they start to think about the long term and value their future. Second, I believe there is potential to expand the program to include higher level wealth management education for those interested in learning about investment strategies. This would be a great opportunity for the department to connect with the WP Carey School of Business to come in and have a professor come in and share this information with our student athletes. Lastly, I think it is vital to have buy-in from everyone in the department, including coaches. So to have them involved and reinforcing these ideas, it's bound to sink into their players. If anything, I see this program as a huge advantage for them when they're out on the recruiting trail trying to get the best of the best to commit to their teams. The charts you see here are the projected amounts of money a student athlete on full scholarship here at ASU can have saved up by the time they graduate from here. As I mentioned in some of my journals, the numbers are staggering, especially when they have the opportunity to start their master's during their 4th or 5th year. Whenever I showed student athletes these numbers, they were shocked and wished someone would have told them about this from day one. The real game changer here is that the athletic department took the time to get the infrastructure that would allow student athletes to enroll in direct deposit instead of passing out paper checks to them. With that in place, they could elect to have a percentage of their loot check distributed directly to their savings account. This would ultimately help student athletes get into the habit of putting money aside. Early on in my practicum, I suggested they implement this, but no one has really stepped up to help me elevate this idea into action, which is rather frustrating. However, this is something I truly believe in and will not give up on for as long as I'm still here serving in my graduate assistant role. Throughout my practicum experience, I was able to connect several theories from previous coursework in the higher ed program. The first two that came to mind are path goal leadership and bottom-up versus top-down leadership theories. The path goal leadership model is a product of several authors who have defined this leadership style as a way for leaders to motivate their followers to accomplish a specific goal. Effective leaders of this style can use various behaviors to generate motivation within their followers in order to keep them on track. In relation to my financial literacy program, I see this leadership style being effective when it comes to sustaining the student athletes' motivation to remain diligent with their savings plan that they put into action. The bottom-up versus top-down leadership is a major conundrum that can be seen throughout higher education. Research tells us that it is important to have leadership at all levels within an organization. Specifically within higher ed, meaningful change happens when grassroots leaders get involved, are valued, and have the opportunity to execute the plan. Reflecting on my practicum experience, I see myself as a bottom-up leader looking to bring something special to the table. However, it will be hard for my ideas to get off the ground and be implemented without the support from upper levels of leadership within the athletic department. In relation to the students I worked with this semester and their individual development, I connected this to Chickering's 7 development vector theory for student development. Chickering's student development theory looks at key factors that can influence an individual's path to establishing their identity. His theory involves 7 development vectors. Of these 7 vectors, I saw great potential for the student athletes to take strides in developing competence when it comes to effectively managing their money, as well as managing their emotions with respects to controlling their impulse and understanding the difference between needs and wants, and lastly, moving through autonomy towards interdependence. The more they know about money, the more successful they can be with effectively managing it on their own as they transition to becoming an independent adult. Throughout my practicum, I believe I have gained valuable experience in several critical competencies that put me on track to be a successful practitioner within the field of higher ed. Of those that stand out to me are data-driven decision-making and problem-solving. which is a huge skill to have when it comes to making big decisions or attempting to bring about change. Using data to drive your decision and back up your ideas can elevate your credibility amongst your peers. The ability to bring innovative ideas to the table is a valuable skill in the eyes of organizations, especially for those looking to take their operations to the next level. To be on the cutting edge and have everyone looking towards you to lead the charge is a powerful spot to be in, especially within higher ed. It's hard to create change all by yourself, so to be able to be intuitive and understand how to effectively collaborate across functional lines is huge. There are a lot of knowledgeable people within our head. To pull from different areas can lead to huge progress. Overall, I believe my financial literacy program engages all these competencies. I realize I still have room for improvement, but this is certainly a solid base to work with moving forward. After several discussions with some of my coworkers, a potential research question I have for my applied project is, what does academic success for student athletes look like? With there being so many different stakeholders within athletics nowadays, it's easy to get caught up in individual priorities and lose track of who's at the center of it all, the student athlete. There's a lot of time, effort, and money put into generating dollars to support student athletes with the best athletic experience possible. At times, I feel like the student and the academic development aspect of their experience is ignored because there's so much pressure to keep up in the arms race within college athletics in terms of facilities and head coaches and all that. The list goes on. So I would be interested in getting a pulse from the different stakeholders as to what they believe academic success looks like. Hope you enjoyed my presentation, and thanks for listening.